Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video. Although this one is not exactly a request, this is one of mine, and it's going to be a standard scenario, which I very rarely play. If I'm going to do scenarios, I always do career and the occasional workshop ones. I never bother with standard. But this is going to give me the chance to show a loco that I've had for about a week. It is down on the the update list as a loco that's available, but let's face it, not everyone reads that. And also, even if you have seen it in that list, it's not really the kind of loco that people are going to straight away think, yeah, that's the one I want to see do this route. Because this is DR73 106. It's a ballast tamper. So we are on the London to Peterborough line. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell us a great deal more in the description. All it says is ballast tamper, stop move and training exercise. So this is basically to give us sort of tips on how to actually use the thing. Though I'll tell you now, this on its own doesn't tell you a great deal. You really need to do this scenario and have access to the manual if you hope to get absolutely anywhere. But anyway, we'll give it a go, so let's get underway. Here we are. Good evening, driver. Tonight you will be moving at DR73 106 from Sidings at Sandy and driving on to Hitchin before undertaking a short exercise to show that you understand how to use the tamping machine. Once this has been carried out, you will drive DR73 106 to Hitchin, then manoeuvre into Hitchin Sidings in readiness for the night shift engineering crew. Be sure to change any points as required along the way, and remember to stop as soon as you reach Biggleswade Up Reverse. So yeah, it tells you all that info right at the start. It gives it to you all in one go, but it doesn't really give you much else to go on. So anyway, here we are. Here is our ballast tamper. I used to see one of these things every time I went to London on the Liverpool Street line. There would be one parked off to the side at it was somewhere between Stratford and Liverpool Street, and I never knew what it was. I only found out quite a few years later. But yes, it is one of these. So let's get things set up. So we want the lights on. Yeah, we want the instrument lights on. We don't need the side lights on yet. We'll put the spotlights on as well. Yeah, we'll bung the cab lights on. We don't need the sirens or the wipers yet. Okay, I'll turn DR8 off. We're all set as far as our journey to where we are needed. So let's get the brakes off, get the get it into gear, and let's get underway. Could do with checking what gear are we in. It looks like we are in second gear. Yeah, we were. So we have 15 mph while we are still in the sidings here. Now I am fairly certain that the signals, which are currently 0.10 away, now 0.09 away, are going to be red. Indeed, it does look like they are. So, I think we've got a little bit of a wait here, so let's take another look around. In fact, let's take a look back inside again, but we'll switch positions. So let's get this up and running, all of our tamping monitoring equipment. So we have the whole PC booting up sequence here. We have the whole post sequence and everything. So that is all set, and our signals are now back up to allowing us to go through. So let's do just that. We are just over 3.5 miles from Biggleswade Up Reverse, which is where we need to get to. So we're now into a 40 mph section, but it doesn't take long before we have to go back down to 25 as we go over the next set of points. There we go. Now we are completely off those points. So we're up into third gear, which is the top gear for this thing. The fastest this will do is about 52.5. This speedo here is in kilometers per hour, and no, I haven't got a fucking clue why it is either. It makes no sense. This thing operates in the UK. Surely it should be mph. While we are still on the go, we'll see that yeah, our PC here has booted up. So 52 point, I think 52.8 is where we top out at. But I mean, for something like this, that's plenty fast enough. I mean, there are freight trains that, you know, barely make this speed, so a single tone horn. So Biggleswade Up Reverse is fast approaching. And that strip that is showing there is the area that we are going to be tamping. So this is a double yellow signal. So we'll coast the last sort of like mile and a quarter. We go through Biggleswade station. We need to start braking, get our speed down. This will be a single yellow. So we will see the workmen and that as we approach the area we need to stop at. You can just see roughly there where work is being done. We are going to be changing the line we're on. You can see the first of the workmen there just as we come off that those points, and then to the line that we are indeed going to be tamping. So here we are. So we need to get ready to start using the old tamping machine. So first thing we need to do is actually get the tamping device actually lowered. So if we on that, you can see it being moved into position. Right, that's the first part. Now we need to get the warning lights on, like so. We also need to put the gear into the right position, which is first gear. So now we have to put the warning siren on. So here we go. We then begin the tamping device. We'll start it up. Doesn't sound like it's doing anything, so maybe we have to be moving before it will let us. There we go. So with this going, we are now limited to 0.7 mph as it is tamping this whole section. So what the tamper actually does, first of all, you have these sets of wheels. Now it's not showing this part in here, but it lifts the rail up off the ground, and as it's going through part of the machine there, it sort of cleans it up and everything. And while it's up, this part here that goes into the ground is it gets buried into all of the ballast that the sleepers are sitting on, and then it does a series of like irregular sort of vibrations. Each of these, you'll see these three sort of prongs here, and they are either side of the rail, and then there's another set for the other rail on the other side. And yeah, they vibrate to say in an irregular sort of way, and it moves all of the ballast around so that it fills in gaps that have started to appear underneath the sleepers, so that then the ballast is doing its job a lot better, and the rails are forming a much more, have a much more solid surface to be resting on. So that is what this is doing. Now, unfortunately, yeah, these readings here, they just it's just there for display. And then if we take a look at the ballast machine monitor here, so we actually have cameras showing the device actually working. So yeah, we are having to tamp this whole section that is highlighted in orange. It is quite a bit, there's no denying that, but we need to go as far as it does tell us it's these signals that are showing here on the HUD. You can see the green signal up ahead. That's as far as we have to go. If we take a look at the map here, yeah, K766, it did tell us what the signal was, but I'm pretty sure it is K766. But unfortunately it's not giving us the option to check or recheck the messages again, which is a bit of a shame, but oh, there we go. Now I assume that these brakes have come on intentionally. I certainly did not put those on. But yeah, I mean, basically I got this because it's something new, something different. It's only $6.99, so I thought, yeah, what the fuck, let's do it. So it was made by Gold Star Games, who I'm not overly familiar with, but it is sold on the Alan Thompson website. Now, I've heard a lot of stuff about Alan Thompson, and very little of it is positive. Does not sound like the kind of man you want to be working for. a lot of court cases and stuff just to get paid for the work you've done, among other things. But also, rather like Armstrong Powerhouse, he has his own sort of like paid for content, and to be fair, most of it looks pretty good. But then it should be, because the prices are utterly horrendous. And again, like Armstrong Powerhouse, you know, the list of requirements means that if you buy one, you've got to buy others just so that you get, you know, the most out of the one sort of like, you know, DLC that you bought that you did want. So the fact that this did not require any other DLC other than the London to Peterborough route, which I already had, but you know, no Armstrong Powerhouse, no Alan Thompson simulations, none of that. That was another reason why I thought, yep, I can grab this one. I'm really not sure why it has this, yeah, this trailer part on the back here. I'm not sure what purpose this serves. It's also quite unusual to be seeing one of these things operating during the day. Normally, yeah, you're looking at, you know, very late at night, early hours of the morning. You know, while most of the services are, you know, no longer running, just to keep the, you know, the disruption to a minimum. And let's face it, it makes sense. So this scenario that I am doing is one of 3 that comes with the Ballast Tamper. You can buy a scenario pack which adds another 6 scenarios. That's also $6.99. I decided not to bother with that one. It does have to be said that the view from inside the cab is pretty good. Very clear view up the front, especially with the second windscreen here, which also has its own windscreen wiper, I think. Is it that one? No. Okay, can't remember how to get that windscreen wiper up and running, but there we are. So yeah, we've got to move this along to the second position. And then, yeah, so having the view from the cab here, we can actually see the ballast tamping machine itself in operation. And the detail is certainly good. Unfortunately, none of these dials or controls or anything, yeah, they don't actually do anything in here. So this is purely for show. So this is one of those things where, you know, you would look at it this, you know, a couple of times or whatever, and then you would just go back to, you know, your regular view in the cab. So yeah, you view in seat 2, and I'm used to so many of the locos, the prime or the only seating position being this one, that it did take well, it took a few minutes of getting used to that. Yeah, the main seat, or yeah, the main cab seat in this one is here. We are getting pretty close to, well, I say pretty close. We've still got a few minutes before we got the whole of it done, but yeah, you can see we've done a fair bit so far. Yeah, I mean, we started here, so yeah, we've not done too badly. So obviously we'll know when we've actually got as far as we're supposed to, because this light will turn red. So there we are. We've reached the point where we can now start to call it a day. So first thing is to stop the tamping machine. There we go. Right, we can turn off the sirens and we can now stop. Okay, we need to turn off the tamping control if it will let us. Okay, let's try it with the keyboard shortcut. Does not seem to be wanting to let us for some reason. Ah, because we've got to be at a complete halt. There we go. Alright. So now we can, yep, switch that off. If we have a look outside, except I probably mistimed it. But yeah, you can see it rising up. And now we are back to being able to run this like a regular train, or drive it like a regular train. So our next, well, it's to go via Arlesey platform. So let's get underway. So we're in top gear. Now it's once we are around sort of Hitchin, platform 1, that's where we've got to check with all the sidings and that and make sure it's taking us to the right place. So we've got to eventually get to Hitchin Up Yard Siding 4. This is all, well, it's not quite as much as shunting, but it's part of the whole shunting routine, and it's not my area of expertise. Mind you, I haven't exactly got a huge amount of areas of expertise in this game. So, yeah, it shifts at a reasonable speed once you are underway and driving it as a regular train, albeit a very small one. So here comes Arlesey station. We're now in an 80 mph zone, because that's going to make all the difference as far as our yeah, our speed of getting to Hitchin. Yeah. Right, so that's Arlesey station. So Hitchin, where we need to stop at platform 1, just over 5 miles. What I'll do is include a link to the page on the Alan Thompson simulation site. So if you decide that you fancy having one of these for your Train Simulator Classic, then yeah, the link will be right there. And the only requirement, as well as having Train Simulator Classic obviously, is that you have the London to Peterborough route. And that's only for the scenarios. If you're not fussed about the scenarios, then you don't even need to have that. Personally, I really like to have the, especially career scenarios. If I'm gonna buy a loco DLC, it really does help if it has at least a couple of scenarios. There have been some loco DLCs that I got in the past, and only after buying them did I discover that they didn't have any career scenarios at all, and I was not best pleased. Class 105 I think was one. Well, I think with that it depends on which one you get. The class 50 is definitely one, which that really did surprise me. You'd have thought a class 50 would have had at least a couple of career scenarios, you know, somewhere sort of on the Bristol to Exeter route, but then that route doesn't have any career scenarios either, so we have a speed reduction coming up in 1 3/4 miles, but yeah, it's a reduction down to 65. We don't need to worry too much about that, but yeah, I was just going to say we do have Hitchin station coming along pretty soon after it, so we probably will be slowing down by the time we reach that. Now, of course, with this being a standard scenario, it doesn't score points. So when it comes to getting the you know, the points sorted out so that I can get this thing into up yard siding 4, yeah, I can take as long as I like, as long as I do it. Okay, 3/4 of a mile. Let's start to bring our speed down. Right, so while we are stopped here, let's take a look at where we are supposed to go. Hitching up siding 4. Okay, so we'll have to change ends. Okay, so siding 4 is over here. It looks like it has already been yeah, part of it has already been done. So right, change ends, so we're now pushing. So we're spending most of this in just 15 mph sections. need to make sure that we are off those points there. I think we are. It's a game over in that long. Right, so now we've got to come back, yeah, this way. So right, so we've got to make sure we're clear of these points we're just coming over. And now, yeah, those have been set up. So change ends again. Keep putting the brakes in the wrong way. Here we are, hitching up yard, siding 4. There you go, I think we are pretty much there. And that is, I believe, the scenario completed. There we go. Good job, mate. That concludes your driver training. It's time for a nice brew. I tell you what, that sounds like a fucking good idea, especially as my cup is currently empty. So there we are. No faults for once. Everything completed. Yeah, job done. So that was the yes, the DR73 GST, the yeah, the Ballast Tamper. So just something a bit different, and like I say, I'll include the link to get this thing if you fancy getting it for your game. $6.99. With the only requirement being, yeah, you need the East Coast Main Line, London to Peterborough route. I think it is worth picking up. I'm quite impressed. So there we go. That is that one. If you have a request, then you will find the link to the request video where you make them. That's also in the description. Just click on that. It will take you to the video where I go through all of the routes and all of the locos that are available to choose from. Also have a read of the update, which is the pinned comment that will show you any routes and any locos that I have bought since making that video, so it's completely up to date. You can see everything that you know, is up for yeah, everything that's, you know, available for you to choose. And yeah, write your request in the comments and we'll get it done, just like this one. So yes, this one is done, and we will see you at the next one.